Hello everyone, now let us discuss about electrocardiogram. So in general, action potential that propagate through the heart, they are capable of generating electrical currents and that can be detected at the surface of the body. So ECG or EKG is nothing but a recording of these electrical signals. And ECG is a composite record of all the action potentials that are produced by all the heart muscle fibers during each heartbeat. And the instrument used to record these changes is called as electrocardiograph. So we should not confuse. The instrument is called as electrocardiograph and the reading is called as electrocardiogram. Now coming to the procedure, how ECG is performed. The electrodes are positioned on the arms and legs. Legs are nothing but they are considered as limb leads and at 6 positions on the chest. And the electrodes positioned on the chest are considered as chest leads. So the electrocardiograph, it amplifies the heart's electrical signals and produces 12 different tracings from different combinations of limb and chest leads. And each limb and chest electrode records slightly different electrical activity because of the difference in their position to the heart. Now coming to the clinical significance of ECG. By ECG, we can determine if the conducting pathway is abnormal or not, and if the heart is enlarged, if certain regions of the heart are damaged, and the major cause of chest pain. These are some of the points that can be determined by ECG. So that is the clinical significance. Coming to the various waves in the ECG. If you look at an ECG, it is mainly composed of 3 waves, and clearly with each heartbeat 3 waves will appear or 3 waves are recognizable. They are P wave, QRS complex and T wave. P wave is an upward deflection and it mainly represents the atrial depolarization. The P wave of a ECG represents the atrial depolarization. The next one is QRS complex. It begins as a downward deflection and continues as a large upright triangular wave and ends as a downward wave. And QRS complex, it mainly represents rapid ventricular depolarization. P wave represents atrial depolarization and QRS complex represents rapid ventricular depolarization. And finally, it is T wave. T wave is a dome-shaped upward deflection and T wave represents ventricular repolarization. And in general, depolarization causes contraction and repolarization causes relaxation of the cardiac muscle. This is a ground rule. And one more important point is the T wave is smaller and wider than the QRS complex. If you look at an ECG, then we'll understand the T wave is smaller and wider than the QRS complex because repolarization, as T wave represents ventricular repolarization, and since repolarization occurs more slowly than the depolarization, the T wave is smaller and wider. These are some of the important points regarding the various waves of ECG. Now, based upon the size of these waves, we can determine if there is any abnormality in the cardiovascular system. And these are the various indications. The first one is larger P wave. If the P wave is larger than the normal, it indicates enlargement of atrium. And an enlarged Q wave indicates a myocardial infarction. These are just indications. And an enlarged R wave, it indicates enlarged ventricles. Larger P wave indicates enlarged atrium, whereas enlarged R wave indicates enlarged ventricles. And coming to T wave, the T wave is flatter than usual in the coronary artery disease and the T wave is elevated in the conditions such as hyperkalemia. So based on the sizes of the waves, we can detect or indicate the specified abnormality. Now coming to the segments or intervals in the ECG. In the ECG, the time spans between the waves are called as intervals or segments, and there are mainly 3 segments or intervals. They are, the first one is PQ interval or PQ segment, ST segment and QT interval. Now coming to PQ interval, it is the time from the beginning of the P wave to the beginning of the QRS complex. And what is the significance of PQ interval? In disorders like coronary artery disease and rheumatic fever, the PQ interval lengthens. And the next one is ST segment. It begins at the end of the S wave and ends at the beginning of the T wave. The ST segments begins at the end of the S wave and ends at the beginning of the T wave. And based on ST segment is elevated in acute myocardial infraction, whereas ST segment is depressed when the heart muscle receives insufficient oxygen. So this is a clinical indication. The next one is QT interval. It extends from the start of QRS complex and ends at the end of T wave. The clinical significance is the QT segment is lengthened by myocardial damage, myocardial ischemia, which is nothing but decreased blood flow, or any other abnormality in the conduction system. So these are the various segments or intervals in a ECG. Now one more point is continuous ambulatory electrocardiographs. In some cases, abnormal heart rhythms and inadequate blood flow to the heart may occur only briefly or unpredictably. You cannot predict the cause. And to detect these problems, continuous ambulatory electrocardiographs are used. An example of such continuous ambulatory electrocardiograph is Holter monitor. With this procedure, a person wears a battery operated monitor, that is nothing but Holter monitor, that records an ECG continuously for 24 hours. And the electrodes are attached to the chest. They are connected to a monitor. And the information on the heart's activity is stored in the monitor and retrieved later by a medical personnel. So this is continuous ambulatory electrocardiographs. By this, we complete ECG. Now, this is the overall pictorial representation of a normal ECG. So, these are the various waves, the P wave, the QRS complex and the T wave. This is the PQ interval, this is the ST segment or interval, and this is the QT interval. So, this is an overall ECG. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for further videos on anatomy and physiology.